Okay, so I've just connected locally with the network cable to the router. I'm just going to browse to it to get to the interface here. Just 192.168.1.1. Default password, username, and password are just admin and admin. I already changed it though, so just gonna log in with that. Maybe. Yeah, so default will be admin and admin. Right here, you're just given a very generic page. This is typically all you'll need to do. It's very simple here unless you go to the advanced screen. So you have your network name for your 5G network. I've just set it to be 5G. Key value, this is basically your wireless password. It doesn't show it, it doesn't hide the password, so if there's someone around, then you're kind of going to have to hide it, unfortunately, but it is also nice, pros and cons to having the password in plain view like that. So, and then here's your 2.4 gigahertz network ID and password. When I first connected into my modem, all I had to do is leave it to auto config and hit auto check, and I had internet access right away, so that was no problem, and I was up and running. Okay, just going to show you the advanced settings now. This is really the only time you would need to go in here is if there's some extra, more complex settings you want to configure, like channels or which type of wireless technology you want to use. So this just kind of gives you a simple overview right on the status page. If we go into the wireless settings here, you can configure settings for 5 and 2.4. Basic settings, you can click the band. So right now I just have it set to A, N, and also AC. That's just the default. You can also set up multiple APs here. It looks like you can have up to 5 total, because there's the standard one and then these are all the extra ones, so 4. So there's 5 gigahertz network connections, APs available, and then 5 2.4 as well. So you can have up to 10 different APs running on this router, which is amazing. I'll just jump over to the 2.4. I do have one set up just for guest. That's awesome. So this is where you'll set up the AP, and then if you want to set up the security, you'll go over here to the security settings. This is where, again, you'll see the password that was on the basic screen. You can set up the cipher suites. I just have AES, WPA mix, or just WPA2. Whereas if on the 2.4, see, now the other one is showing up, so I can select whichever one I want, change the security settings for each particular one to be as I need. Also over here you have your LAN settings. Of course, you're setting the IP address of the router itself, what your range of DCP clients is here. You can also set MAC address cloning, everything else here. WAN settings right now just set to DCP, so that's automatic config. The host name, all these other advanced settings. Here we have the USB settings, so this is where you can set up a file server or printer server. So I'm going to go ahead and do that next. Okay, just going to test out the USB file server settings here. So right now there's nothing connected. I'm going to go ahead and plug in a USB thumb drive. All it has is a picture on it. So that's connected. I'm just going to hit refresh now. Alright, it sees it there. It sees the file system, FAT32, total size is 7.5 gig and available 7.4. So it's only with a 1% used on with the picture. So let's see, let's go to FTP server. Let's see, that's enabled. I'll have to set the folder here. We just want the parent directory, so that's good. So just a guest user. We can set users up in another section later on. So I'll save and apply that. So now it shows this folder is the selected one, which is SDA or C according to how it's been set. So now if we just open a new page here, go to the FTP of FTP:// and then the IP address. It brings it right up. So here's public, and here's the one picture that I have on the thumb drive. That's been loaded right up, just a picture of a flashlight. So there's that. Pretty simple for the FTP. So that's it. That's very simple, other than the user management, which is here. So you can add additional users. So have them, you can create different users and give them only specific access to different partitions or drives or whatever it may be. So in your FTP server, if you had multiple folders, you could say one folder is only accessible to a specific user, whereas the other folder a different user, and you would just set the password and whatnot there. So pretty simple, and that's that. Okay, I'm going to do the printer setup. I noticed that even though I have the printer connected to the other USB port, it still says no printer was found. I tried a couple different things, rebooting the printer, and still nothing. But I did find this manual here with some instructions. So even though it shows here in the interface on the printer server page that no printer is found, even though it's enabled, it doesn't show it was here, but I did get it to work. So here on the manual page, and I'll give a link for this in the comment, basically you just add the printer manually by going through these steps. You set the port as a TCP/IP port. You'll select the IP address as the router's IP address. These are just exactly the steps I followed. The screens are a little bit different since I'm on Windows 8, but it's the very same basic idea. You will get prompted to select the device type. I just left it as generic network card as it shows here, and just went through finish. Selected my driver since I had already installed the printer connected directly to my computer. I had the driver, so I just selected it. And then, yeah, like it says here, I already had the driver, so I just did actually keep existing driver is what I did, and chose a name, so I just named it the same thing, only I selected on router. So here you'll see my devices. This is the one that was connected directly, and this is the same printer, only I just named it on router. Went through that process. I didn't print it, and I printed a test page, and it worked just fine. It printed it out. So as long as you have basically, even though it doesn't show that it found it here, as long as you add a printer, select the IP address of the router, and select the correct driver, it seemed to work just fine. So pretty happy with that.